Hello, everybody. I hope everybody has had a great week so far. And I don't know about you guys, but I cannot believe we are coming up on midterms. So, this is going to be a time where we are not going to be adding any new reading because we are focusing on kind of going back and reviewing our knowledge on the previous text and also kind of exploring some different themes and different questions that we have had over the semester about these texts. So, one of the things that we're going to be doing for the midterm is just going back and not testing necessarily if you can name the date something was written or know exact locations. All those things are all relevant, and those are things that we talked about in class. Um, but rather than memorizing facts, I want to make sure you guys are connecting with the text and able to kind of put different things together and start that analytical thinking that we are going to use further on in the semester and also with our uh, major paper for the semester as well. So, getting some of these thoughts and some of these discussion questions that we're going to be going over might also be useful in you kind of having a jumping off point for that project as well. So if you find something that you're interested in as you're doing the study guide or as you complete the midterm exam next week, those are all going to be some good options for you guys to potentially work with. Especially if you have a question that you still, after trying to answer it, you might still have some questions about it. That might be a good place to explore. But before I get too ahead of myself talking about that project, we need to focus on midterms, of course. So you can see here where we have our midterm prep, this questionnaire. I used the answers that you guys gave me from the questionnaire to put the study guide together. So these are all things that you guys found interesting, quotes that stuck out to you, different things that you guys noticed and wondered about the text. So we're going to be using these, and you have more items on the study guide than will actually be on the exam. So if you know the stuff on the study guide or you can recall these things that we're asking about, you should be good for the exam. This is not to say that we go through and we answer and we just memorize word for word what we said. You can say some things differently, explain it a little differently, just as long as you are kind of familiar with the text and some of the major ideas that are going on and able to recognize some of these different quotes, where they come from, and kind of how they play into the different texts that we have read so far this semester. I will say, those of you who turned in the midterm questionnaire all gave great questions, picked out some great quotes. There were some that maybe I got a bunch from Gilgamesh, which is great. I'm glad that Gilgamesh stuck out to you guys. But to have all the texts that we've read so far this semester represented, I wasn't able to use everyone's quote from Gilgamesh or everyone's discussion question from Gilgamesh. Again, not to say that anybody's question was better than another. It was just looking at how we could divide everything up evenly and cover everything that we have read so far. So you're going to be able to find the midterm study guide here. I'm going to be placing this video as soon as I upload it right here above it. So you should be able to watch the video. Well, you're already watching the video. And then right below the video is going to be your midterm study guide. Once you click onto the midterm study guide, it will allow you to see this document here. And you guys have the option to also download this. If you are nearby a building that has a printer, or if you have a printer in your room, um, it's only one page. If you need to download it and space it out so you can write in answers to work that way, whatever is going to work best for you. as you're going through and answering this. This first portion is looking at these different quotes that you guys have picked from the text, and not only naming the author. If there is an author, remember Gilgamesh and the Old Testament are both going to be anonymous. So those would not have an author, but you can name the author, the text, and then the context surrounding the following quotes. So if it's something from Oedipus, who is saying the line, or something from the Aeneid, who is speaking to who, what are they talking about, how is it relevant to the overall text, um, whatever you find relevant to that quotation, what it makes you think of when it comes to the entire text. So even though this is just a small portion of the story or the poems, or other things that we have read, you're going to, just in a couple of sentences, kind of show how it relates to the bigger picture. So you have a few of these here that you'll go through and answer that for, and then we have discussion questions. These are going to be a little bit more similar to things we've done in class when we've had discussion boards or you've had smaller assignments, bell ringers. So we've already done a little bit of this analytical practice so far this semester. We're just kind of putting it to work for the midterm. So you'll go through in about 3 to 5 sentences. Doesn't have to be super long. You should go through and answer the question and really pull from the text. You don't have to use direct quote, so you're not going to have time to look up direct quotes or have access to those PDFs or textbooks during the exam. Even if you did have the textbooks during the exam or the PDFs open or even printed out, it just would take too much time to kind of look up and get all those quotes. So you can use examples without having to actually directly quote. If you remember something very memorable, especially if it's something that you're familiar with, like something from the Old Testament, a verse that you're already familiar with, you already have memorized, or even if you think you can use one of these quotes from up top to answer some of these questions, you're welcome to use those, but it's not necessary. So you will answer these questions, and please remember that these should be your original answers for the questions, not AI generated. Um, there is a copy links function that is available through Blackboard that I've been utilizing. So please just make sure it's in your own words. If you're completing the study guide and you don't quite understand something and you need to maybe watch an analysis or see somebody, I would prefer your interpretation first, of course. But if there's something you didn't understand and you're looking for answers, that is perfectly fine. But it needs to be discussed how you would discuss it. If I asked you this question in person, how would you answer it? Or if you were talking about it with another student. I saw the other day just how great you guys are. And I've seen it before when you've done group work, but I saw during the debate the other day, and even after the debate with students who hung back and talked about the text, you guys have great insights about these works and can make fantastic arguments about them. So just put that on paper is really all we're asking you guys to do. But you'll go through and you'll answer these. The idea being that you are prepared to discuss these once you get to the midterm. Again, the midterm is not going to be all of these questions, right? If we're doing 3 to 5 sentences for 8 different discussion questions, we're basically writing a paper, right? So the actual midterm will be closer to around 10 questions. Now, there will be some bonus questions. Obviously, since they're bonus questions, they're not on the study guide. But to be prepared for those bonus questions, I would encourage you to go back and anytime I posted a podcast, posted a video, or had a PowerPoint that I uploaded, going back and looking at those would always be a good option for you guys to kind of help you out with those bonus questions so you're prepared for those as well. This test, because we have had issues with technology, in the past, and also just to prepare for anything. This will be taken during class on a day of your choosing that we meet physically in class. So you do have the choice between Monday of midterms week or Wednesday of midterms week. Um, excuse me. So that is when we will meet physically in class. I will have physical copies of the exam so that you guys are able to access that and have it right there in front of you. So, regardless of internet, view boards, we're just going to go old school with this. It's going to take a little bit longer for myself to grade it. And what I will probably do, to be honest with y'all, is instead of handing these back, because we are going straight from midterms into spring break, I'll most likely take pictures of these and upload them to Blackboard so that your grade is in there, and you also can see if I have feedback. I'll probably still type the feedback. Again, I don't have the best handwriting um, to let you guys know how you did on this test. Now, this is quite a large study guide, but you guys are welcome. If you want to reach out to previous group members, any friends you have in the class to collaborate, but you guys do not need to have verbatim, word for word, the exact same answers. This is something that I did with other students myself when I was in my undergraduate years. We had some pretty gnarly history exams. I was a history major as well as an English major, and we would have just pages and pages of stuff to go over for our history exams, and would kind of help each other out by maybe looking into a specific era, or somebody who's good with dates might go through and do that portion. But we all had our own answers and interpretations of what we were talking about with the short answers and discussion questions. So again, just using collaboration in the classroom is fine as long as we're still doing our own thinking in our own writing. If you need to sign up for the day that you're taking the midterm, so sorry guys, I'm trying to remember where I put that. I might have put that in an announcement. I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I put it in the midterm questionnaire. So if you still have not signed up, and this does say prohibit late submissions, so I will put this link down in the same folder as we have this video that you're watching. So the midterm sign up sheet, all you do is click on here. It takes you to a Google Doc, and you just write your name underneath which day you plan on taking the exam. That way I know how many copies to bring that day, who to expect. So if you signed up for Monday and you're not there, I can check in and see what's going on. If you have accommodations, such as time and a half or a less distracted work environment, I do have copies of those accommodations that have been sent to me by the school. So I already know who has accommodations in the class. However, I might not know your work schedule, your extracurricular activity schedule. I can look up what classes you're taking this semester. But if you do need that time and a half, or a less distracted work environment, then you will need to kind of send me your information about your availability so that we can work out how to get you that time and a half. I want to honor everyone's accommodations that you have through disability services. Um, so make sure again to kind of let me know what day is going to be work best for you for taking the exam, and what that environment might be if you need that. Because I will always work with your accommodations. Remember that it is your legal right. And just something that I believe in using in the classroom as well. I will step off my soapbox and let you guys get started on your midterm questionnaire. No, sorry, midterm study guide. You do not have anything to turn in for today. Just get that study guide done. Sign up for your midterm sign up sheet for the day that you will be taking the midterm. And I will see you guys on Monday. I hope you have a restful weekend or a productive weekend, whatever is going to help get you to next week. And remember, we just have midterms, and then we can all relax for a week for spring break. If you need anything, feel free to email me or come see me during my office hours. Make an appointment for any of my virtual office hours or any time outside of that that you can't get a hold of me. We can work something out. I'll talk to you guys on Monday.